the entire Bhagavad Gita. So put all your focus and attention in understanding these four verses. If you can understand these four verses, then our Acharya says that these are the essence of Bhagavad Gita. So we started from verse number 8 in this 10th chapter, where Krishna is revealing the absolute position of himself. So that verse is the verse which lays the foundation of our spiritual existence. In this material creation, most of us never have any foundation, any spiritual foundation. So where is the spiritual foundation coming from? It is coming from the supreme absolute truth, Lord Shri Krishna. So Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo. That I am the source, I am the root, I am the foundation from where everyone and everything else is emanating. So our connection is with Lord Shri Krishna. So one who has found this, one who has understood this, then such a person is in knowledge. And how to know one is in knowledge? That iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. Such a person who has received this spiritual knowledge of Krishna being the source of everyone and everything. So this knowledge deepens devotion in the heart of a practitioner. The purpose of Krishna giving this knowledge is to invoke devotion in the heart of practitioner. This knowledge inspires devotion. Like you come to know that there is someone in IARI who is residing here. And that person is the Cabinet Secretary of India. You understand Cabinet Secretary? No? Amongst all the secretaries of India, there is one principal secretary called the Cabinet Secretary. So the government policies, most of the government policies is made by the Cabinet Secretary. So he is the one who plans the entire country's direction. And if you come to know he is the Cabinet Secretary, what will be your immediate response? What will be your immediate response? Just think, huh? Very good. He's an innocent boy. Immediately you will respect that if the Prime Minister respects such a person, who is his advisor? Cabinet Secretary is the advisor of whom? Prime Minister. If he can give the advice to the Prime Minister, so his advice has to be taken by respect. Isn't it? So this is the purpose. Very true. Thank you. This is the purpose of Krishna speaking this knowledge, is to inspire devotion to him. And when a person comes to receive this knowledge, his heart will be filled with gratitude. And naturally, he will be inclined to perform devotional service to him. That is what Krishna says, iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. So, the wise who perfectly know this, what they know? That Krishna is the source of everyone and everything. So they engage in my devotional service and worship with their hearts. So worship to the Supreme Lord is done by heart. Heart means what? Loving feelings. Feelings of gratitude. That should be the attitude in one's devotion. Otherwise, it is not devotion. It can only be a emotion or at the most a commotion, which will not last, which will fade away. So this is the foundation verse. It is called the Sambandha Gyan. Sambandha means relationship. So this relationship of the living entity with the Supreme Lord is eternal, everlasting. It can never ever be terminated. Everything in this world is temporary. It comes into being, it stays for some time, and finally it gets diminished, terminated. So if the living entity, the Jiva, comes to know about his eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord, so he becomes wise. He becomes wise and he performs devotional service with all his hearts. And how that devotional service is done with his heart, that was the 9th verse. Anyone who has memorized these verses, these 4 verses you memorize. You memorized? You should memorize. It's not difficult. You have seen our young Bhakti girls. You went with us the yatra. You saw Amoha and Riyanshi and Gaurangi. Yeah, Gaurangi is the daughter of Dr. Dolamani. Amoha, that small girl from Vrindavan, they all memorize the verses easily. Riyanshi knows all the verses. Riyanshi, you are there watching? Riyanshi, unmute
Yes,
and
sir.
speak. You memorize this. You memorize all these four verses.
Yes, sir.
Recite.
अहं सर्वस्य प्रभुः मत्तः सर्वान् प्रवर्तते इति मत्वा भजन्ते मां बोधपाठाय
Yes.
समान्विता मच्चित्ता मत्गता प्राणा बोधयन्ति परस्परं कथयन्तस्य मां नित्यं तुष्यन्ति च
Tushyanti.
रमन्ति च तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं ददामि बुद्धियोगं तं येन मामुपयन्ति ते तेषामेवानुकम्पार्थ अहम् अज्ञानजं नाशयामि
Atmabhavastu.
नित्यभावस्य
Atmabhavastu.
ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वता.
Excellent. This is Tesham Satata Yuktana. And this is also Bhajatam Priti Purvakam. That you have memorized all these four verses. Thank you for giving a live example. Uh, yeah, these are those who are Tesham Satata Yuktanam. This is Satata Yukta. Satata Yukta means always endeavoring, always making an effort. And how they are worshipping? Priti Purvakam. So Krishna says, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. I provide them the intelligence. What Krishna provides? The spiritual inspiration. Krishna gives the inspiration so that they can come to me. And how he gives the inspiration, that we will see in this final verse today, the 11th verse. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavansya Shri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagan Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Krita Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishe शून्यवादी देश धारिणे. Those who are satata yukta, those who are constantly engaged in rendering devotional service, priti purvakam, with love, with attention, with reverence, with devotion. Krishna says, I give them the spiritual intelligence, buddhi yoga. So how he does that? How he gives the buddhi yoga? Or what actually is buddhi yoga? And how it works? Hmm? So Krishna gives that detail in this 11th verse. This verse is the stage of perfection. Hmm? To those who are endeavoring with all their attention, Krishna gives them perfection. How he bestows perfection, that is very beautifully stated in this verse. Recite after me. Teshameva anukampartham aham ajnanajam tama नाशयामि आत्मभावस्तो ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वत तेषामेवानुकम्पार्थम् अहम् अज्ञानजं तमः नाशयामि आत्मभावस्तो ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वत तेषामेवानुकम्पार्थम् अहम् अज्ञानजं तमः नाशयामि आत्मभावस्तो ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वत. Recite. Recite. तेषामेवानुकम्पार्थम् अहमज्ञानजं तमः नाशयामि आत्मभावस्तो ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वत. Very good. Excellent. With attention. If you hear attentively, there is all possibility that you will recite perfectly. Okay. No, no, no. Hear first. You are not hearing. You heard your brother? Why? Okay. You recite. तेषामेवानुकम्पार्थम् अहमज्ञानजं तमः नाशयामि आत्मभावस्तो ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वत. So Krishna is pouring his heart out. Those who are worshipping him with their hearts. So how Krishna reciprocates with his heart? Krishna is already residing in the heart of everyone. So he says, Tesham. Tesham means unto those. Unto whom? Those who are satata yuktana. Those who are constantly engaged in serving me. Not to everyone. Not for every devotee or anyone. Only those who are exclusively worshipping Krishna with all their hearts. How? Machchita madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam. To such devotees, Krishna says, Tesham. Evaha. Eva means only or certainly. So Krishna is classifying them to exclusive group. But unto them, certainly, Tesham Eva Anukampartham. Kripa, Kripa means mercy. And Anukampa means lot of mercy. Lots and lots of mercy. And Artham means that will give some meaning or value. So such mercy that will be very meaningful in their life. Tesham evanu kampartham artham. So to show them special favor, or to bestow them special mercy. What Krishna says, aham. Aham means I. What I do? Ajnana jam tamaha. That ajnana means ignorance. That which is residing in their hearts, in their consciousness for prolonged time. What is there in the heart? It is ignorance. Ignorance of one's own identity and also ignorance of the Supreme Lords and one's ignorance of the relationship between the living entity and the Supreme Lord. So Krishna says that ajnana, which is covering the spiritual knowledge of the living entity, I remove jama tamaha. Tama means the darkness. So that ignorance which is there in the heart of a sincere devotee, I personally nashayami. I destroy that darkness of ignorance. How do you destroy, sir? Huh? There are so many living entities. He says, I am Atma Bhavastha. I am Atma Bhava. I am situated in the Atma of the living entity. Krishna is situated as the super soul, as the Paramatma in the heart of everyone. So is Atma Bhavastho. Stha means situated. Where is he situated? He is situated to the closest. The Paramatma is the closest of the living entity Atma. Both are residing where? In the heart. Samane vrikshe purusha nimagno. Anishiya sochati muhyamanaya. Justam yada pashyati anyam isham. So it is said that in one tree there is a branch, and on the branch there are two green parrots sitting. And they are not facing each other. They are opposite to each other. The living entity is one parrot and the Supreme Lord is another parrot. The living entity is thinking that he is the Isha. Isha means the enjoyer. Samane vrikshe purusha nimagna anishiya sochati muhyamanayam. And he is thinking that he is the enjoyer. And he has turned his face from his eternal friend, the Supreme Lord. And what is he thinking? That he can enjoy this material world. So he is making effort. So Krishna is situated where? He is Atma Bhavasto. He is situated in the heart of the living entity. He is the close. That is why Krishna is the closest friend. Who is there in the heart? People make claim. The boy makes a claim that the girl is in the heart, and the girl makes the claim the boy is in the heart. And when what happens? They fight and create all kind of trouble with each other. So Krishna is Atma Bhavastha. He is situated in the heart of the living entity. So what he does, being situated in the heart, Jnana Deepena Bhasvata. He illuminates the heart with the knowledge. As the darkness is dispelled when you lit a lamp. As the Krishna seated in the heart of the living entity, particularly those devotees, those loving devotees who are rendering service with love and devotion to him, Krishna personally removes all ignorance and darkness from their hearts and places them in the perfect knowledge. So this is the reciprocation. The first two verses is what the devotee does for the Lord. What the devotee does for the Lord. 8th verse. Iti matva bhajante ma buddha bhava samanvita. And 9th verse. Bodhayanta parasparam. And so this is what the devotee engages in loving service. And what the Supreme Lord does, Krishna says, Tesham dadami buddhi yogam tam. I give them the intelligence. And now he is saying, Nashyami atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhasvata. So to show them special mercy, I dwelling in their hearts. Dwelling in their hearts. In whose hearts? Krishna is dwelling in everyone's heart. But he does special mercy only to those who are worshipping Krishna with their hearts. To only those. That is why it is said, Tesham Eva. Destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. Huh? Jama Tamaha. Jama means, Ja means to take birth. So, Krishna, another meaning of this beautiful verse is that Krishna destroys the ignorance which pushes them to take birth again. So, that means the devotee will never ever come to the position because it is uh, Tama Nashyami. Jama Tama Nashyami. So, for him to take birth again, there is no possibility. Because Krishna will eradicate him from all the vicious cycle of karma. He will release him. Okay. Understood the verse? How Krishna is going to reciprocate with those who are to those who are exclusively worshipping him with devotion, with affection, with love and devotion. So Krishna will personally remove all ignorance, uh, all confusions from their heart. So Prabhupada says that when Lord Chaitanya was in Banaras promulgating the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, thousands of people were following him. This is the time of Lord Chaitanya's advent now. Wherever we read, whatever we read, Lord Chaitanya comes into picture, huh? Making our intensity more strong to come to Mayapur. So Lord Chaitanya promulgated the chanting of the holy names, and wherever he went, he inspired and invoked the inspiration in everyone's heart to chant. So even he was there in Varanasi. So thousands of people were following him. And in Varanasi also there was a great scholar called Prakashanand Saraswati. Uh, He was a impersonalist. You know, there are two types of spiritualist. One is personalist and the other is impersonalist. Impersonalist says that the Supreme Lord cannot have any form. He is formless. From formless can the form come? Huh? Very good. So how do you know? From where do we come? We have our parents. And where do our parents come from? Their parent. From their parents. It's very simple logic. A child can understand. But these impersonalists are so stubborn and our Supreme has no form. So one of such impersonalists is Prakashanand Saraswati. He was a very influential and learned scholar in Banaras at that time. And he derided Lord Chaitanya for being a sentimentalist. Derided means to make insult. Huh? Ha, insult him. Insult him. He was saying, what is this show of sentimentalism? Chanting and singing and dancing. So he makes such a remark. Sometimes Mayavadi philosophers, Prabhupada says, Mayavadi philosophers means those who are under the influence of the illusionary energy. Under the influence of the illusionary energy, the person cannot accept that the spiritual Lord has a form. He finds it impossible to accept that. So they are called Mayavadi. Krishna says that four type of people cannot reach him. Namam dushkitano mudha prapadyante naradhama mayaya aprit jnana asuri bhava ashrita. Seventh chapter and verse number is 14th. 14th or 15th. Seventh chapter. So four kinds of people cannot ever approach Krishna. So amongst the four, the 714. 714. 15, sorry. 15. 715. I am explaining the term Mayavadi. So Krishna says 4 type of people can never approach me. Who are these? First, they are called Dushkritina. Sukritanas means those who have pious credits. Those who have pious credits, they can know Krishna. And those who are Dushkritina, those who are impious, they can never know Krishna. So who are these 4 types of impious people? First is the grossly foolish, Mudha. Grossly foolish are those people, those who think if they work hard, they can enjoy harder. So they are busy in what? First working hard and trying to enjoy harder. They are compared to like an ass, donkey. Donkey thinks if the more weight he can carry, the more grass he can eat. Grass is always there. He does not have to carry the load. But he does not have that intelligence. And second is Naradhama. Adhama means fallen. And so they are in the human form of life, but they are fallen in their consciousness. Who are these people? Who do not follow any rules and regulations. They are called Naradhama. So our current population is filled with such followers. They are looking like humans, Nara, but what they are? Adhama. They are all fallen. Fallen from where? From the human standards. Those who do not follow the 4 regulative principles, all of them will classify to come under Naradhama. So if we actually want to be Nara, and if we want to be Narottama, Narottama means the best of the humans. He has to be very distinguished in his conduct. And the third category is Maya Aparit Jnanaha. This is the one which is called the Mayavadis. They have intelligence, they have knowledge. uh, Scientists, philosophers, poets, uh, Nobel laureates, all these people, but their intelligence is stolen by the illusionary energy. They can never accept that the Supreme Lord is a person. So Prabhupada is explaining here that the Mayavadi philosophers criticize the devotees because they think that most of the devotees are in the darkness of ignorance and are philosophically naive sentimentalists. Actually, that is not a fact. They are very, very learned scholars who have put forward the philosophy of devotion. So, this is always the misunderstanding or misconception amongst these so called Vedantists. These Vedantists, they do not accept the principle given by Lord Chaitanya. That in this Kali Yuga, one cannot achieve the perfection by study of Vedanta alone. What he has to do? He has to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If one does not chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, there is no possibility of any spiritual elevation or perfection. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nameva Kevalam. Kalau nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gati nanyatha. That in this age of Kali, there is only one way to achieve perfection. Hare Nama. Then again it is Hare Nama. And again it is Hare Nama. Eva Kevalam. That's Krishna is saying, Tesham Eva Anukampartham. Only to such devotees who are dedicated their hearts to me with love and affection. They are engaged Satata Yuktana. So such people, they do not accept the recommendation of Lord Chaitanya and they go for different pursuits. Either they go for the empiric knowledge, which is called the Gyan Marga, study of Vedanta, or they go for mystic perfections, which is called the Yoga Marga, the eightfold mystic perfections. But both of it, or even by trying to achieve perfection by the karma, by performing actions. So in Kali Yuga, none of it, neither by perfection of action, neither by empiric knowledge, nor by the mystic siddhis. But these Vedantists, it is called Vedantaha. Veda means knowledge and Anta means the conclusion. But their understanding is Vedanta. Vedanta means Ve means without, and Danta means teeth. The one who is without teeth, can he chew? No. They cannot know. And what is the conclusion of the uh, Vedas? What is the perfection of Vedas? So they don't accept this easy method and they try for the empiric method. So Prabhupada is saying that, that actually that is not the fact. Their understanding is not the fact. The devotees are very, very learned scholars who have put forward the philosophy of devotion. But even if a devotee does not take advantage of their literature, so what is the devotional literature? Devotional literature is Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. If one studies Bhagavad Gita and if one follows Bhagavad Gita, he can achieve all perfection. He can be liberated from the cycle of birth and death. So if there is one devotee who is not able to understand the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita, or he is not able to apply the principles of Bhagavad Gita, but even if the devotee does not take advantage of their literature or his spiritual master, he may be initiated, he may have a spiritual master who is lovingly giving him this knowledge. But somehow he is not able to receive it or accept it. If he is sincere, this is the condition. If he is sincere, in his devotional service, he is held by Krishna himself within his heart. So no worries. I'll give you one practical example. You all know Srila Prabhupada, who is our founder Acharya. You don't know Prabhupada? How do you don't know Prabhupada? Prabhupada is the founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. He is the preeminent Siksha Guru for all the followers of ISKCON. You should come to temple. If you don't come to temple, he will not get the samskar. What is the problem? You never go out of IRA. At least once in a month, the people should come to the temple. You see, you just heard Rehanshi speaking all the 4 verses. You heard Rehanshi speaking all the 4 verses, reciting. She comes every Sunday. If you come, you will get her association and you will be inspired. She is hardly 8 or 9 years old. Otherwise, what you will do? You will go in the playground and waste your time. And those boys and girls with whom you are playing, do they have any interest or inclination for Bhagavad Gita? Then a man is known by his company. By his company. A man is known by his company. Company means his friends, his associates. So if you become devotee's friend, then you will become devotee automatically. If you become a drunkard's friend, what you will become? Drunkard. Because association gives the biggest inspiration. If you are in good association, you will get good inspiration. And if you are in bad association, what you will get? You will get inspiration to commit all nonsense, all crime. One thing which is there in all our hands, what we can change? Association. Blessed are those who do. Mostly people don't. They are lazy, very lazy and crazy to do that. So these devotees who are in good association, who are performing devotional service, maybe they do not have that refined intelligence to understand Shastra. As in Kali Yuga, hardly anyone understands Shastra. Why? Because that purity is not there. To understand the Shastra, what is required? Purified intelligence. Contaminated intelligence cannot understand Shastra. That is why we cannot understand. Can we understand we are not this body, we are soul? Can anyone understand this conception? No. It is only a statement. It is only information that we are not this body, we are soul. Isn't it? Is there any understanding or application or realization of this fact? Not even an iota of it. Why? Because our brain is too dull. We are seeing people dying. But even after seeing people dying and passing away, we cannot accept this fact that we will also die. So is that intelligence or is that lack of intelligence? You decide. So here, see, the point is that even if a devotee is not very learned, if a devotee is not very intelligent, no problem. Krishna personally helps him. This is what Krishna is revealing here. That Prabhupada is saying if he is sincere in his devotional service, he is held by Krishna himself within his heart. So the sincere devotee engaged in Krishna consciousness cannot be without knowledge. The only qualification is that one carry out devotional service in full Krishna consciousness. So this is very important. So if one is sincere, if one is following what he has been asked to do, whether he is able to understand or not is not important because Krishna from within will help. I'll give you many examples from the Shastras. Prabhu, please switch off the phone. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was preaching in South India, he reached a place called Sri Rangam. You all know Sri Rangam? A very prominent place, Sri Rangam. It is the headquarters of Sri Vaishnavas, and their Lord Ranganath is there. The biggest Hindu temple, one of the biggest Hindu temple. Very beautiful temple, large, huge. So there was one Brahmin, and he was trying to study Bhagavad Gita, but he was not very expert in Sanskrit. And his spiritual master told him to study every day at least one chapter of Bhagavad Gita. That is all we should all aspire to do. That if we read one chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it may take only 15 minutes. Out of 24 hours, 24 into 60 is how much? 24 into 60 is 1. What kind of math you are saying? Prabhupada says, as soon as the person speaks, he reveals himself. If you are remain silent, people will not know whether you are foolish or wise. But as soon as you speak, you will be exposed. So that Brahmin was very sincere, although he was not expert in Sanskrit. So he was not able to recite the verses in the proper uh, recitation meter. And all those South Indian normally Brahmins are very, very scholar. In our society also we have many South Indian devotees. Their study of Shastra is far superior to the North Indians because they have that grounding, their upbringing is there from their childhood. Uh, they learn Sanskrit and they recite also. But this Brahman was not very expert. So he was trying to recite the verses of Bhagavad Gita, but his recitation was not perfect. So the other Brahmins were making fun of him. They were telling him, if you don't know, then don't speak. But at that time, Lord Chaitanya was touring South India and he passed by the way and he saw this Brahman studying Bhagavad Gita. And what Lord Chaitanya saw, nobody else saw. When this Brahman was reciting the verses of Bhagavad Gita, this Brahman was having tears flowing from his eyes. And his hairs were standing. His body hairs was standing on the tip. So he was in trance, he was in ecstasy. And when Lord Chaitanya saw this, Lord Chaitanya stopped. He gazed for the Brahman a few moments and then he asked the Brahman that what is it in Bhagavad Gita that is giving you so much of ecstasy? Why you are in such blissful mood that I see all the symptoms of ecstasy flowing from your body. Tears are gliding down from your eyes. What makes you feel this emotion? And this simple Brahman said that, my dear sir, as soon as I see the cover of the Bhagavad Gita, what I see, the Supreme Lord, the master of all the three worlds, has become servant of his devotee. and he's serving his devotee. And when I see that Lord Krishna is assuming this position of a servant of his devotee, my heart is melting. That how merciful is the Lord. Lord Chaitanya said, "You are the only person who has understood Bhagavad Gita." And Lord Chaitanya personally embraced him. So, it is not per se the scholarship or knowledge. It is how much reciprocation or how much mercy one is able to invoke from the Supreme Lord. How? By his sincerity of devotional service. I'll give you another example. Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master was Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. If you come to our temple, when you come to Gaur-Nitai altar, you will see on one side there is the deity of Prabhupada, and the other side there is the deity of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was one of the most prominent scholar that human race has ever seen. He was such a scholar. He was a walking encyclopedia. He had such, knowledge, and his memory was so sharp. Whatever he heard once, it was memorized forever. And he also had many, many scholarly disciples. So one of his disciples was giving a talk, the spiritual talk. And one doctor was listening. And he was very inspired. So later that doctor also became devotee. He took initiation from Bhakti Saraswati Thakur. And when the time passed by, he said that I also want to study the scriptures. I also want to recite scriptures. And I also want to deliver lectures to inspire others. So you please assign me under one of your disciples, that scholarly disciple. If you have to do PhD, whom you will look to be your guide? The most brightest one, isn't it? उसको नहीं करेगा ना कि जो भी कुछ पूछेगा नहीं, कुछ बताएगा नहीं. हाँ? उससे उसके बाद क्या मिलेगा? कुछ नहीं. So he said that my request is that with your that scholarly sannyasi disciple, I want to be his student so that I can pick up from him how to study shastras and how to quote shastras. But Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur did not approve. He said, for you it will be better if you go and meet Ramdas Prabhu. So Ramdas Prabhu will guide you how to study scriptures. So this doctor, MBBS doctor, not the PhD doctor. IERI people, everyone writes doctor. So this MBBS doctor, he went to this Ramdas Prabhu and he found out this Ramdas Prabhu was a gardener. He was the gardener of Sri Chaitanya Math. And he was illiterate. So when this very qualified MBBS doctor approached Ramdas and said that our spiritual master has asked me to study scriptures from you. So Ramdas Prabhu said, he was very simple, was very humble. He said, what can I teach you? You are so learned and so high ranked, and I am a simple gardener, I am illiterate. So probably you have not heard the right name. Our spiritual master would have said some other name and you have, not heard it properly. So this doctor went back to Bhakti Saraswati Thakur and said that I think I heard the wrong name. I went to Ramdas Prabhu, but he told me that he is illiterate, he is gardener, and he is not able to give me any guidance on scripture. So I have returned back. So you please assign me to the disciple, your sannyasi disciple whom I was asking. So Bhaktivedanta Maharaj did not approve. He said, no, no, no. You have to go to Ramdas Prabhu only. If you really want to know the imports of these scriptures, you have to go to Ramdas Prabhu. And you tell him that it is my instruction. And he will guide you. So next time, that doctor again went and approached Ramdas Prabhu and said, this is the instruction of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur that you guide me. And when Ramdas Prabhu started to speak from the scriptures, this doctor was completely stunned. Why? Because Krishna was speaking from his heart. This Ramdas Prabhu was the gardener of Chaitanya Math for last 40 years. And with such love and care and affection, he was planting the seeds to get the flowers to make garlands for their lordships. So, to such people, Krishna personally gives the knowledge. There are many, many examples. We have seen even in our society. I've seen in many devotees also. They would have not studied scripture so much, or they would have not, been very learned or scholarly, but they have great realizations. Realization is based on service. So all the knowledge is revealed in the heart of whom? In the heart of those who are sincerely serving the Supreme Lord. So how it happens? Because this is held by Krishna. That is why you see all our commentaries by Acharyas. Srila Prabhupada gave the commentary only in the nights. Why? Because Krishna was personally dictating him. When every entire world was sleeping. Prabhupada used to sleep at 10 in the night and 12 in the night he used to wake up. He used to sleep only for 2 hours. And from 12 in the night till 5 in the morning, every night Prabhupada was dictating. And how he was dictating? Because Krishna from the heart was speaking. You see the commentary, you will understand. So Prabhupada is saying, but even if a devotee does not take advantage of their literature or his spiritual master, if he is sincere in his devotional service, he is held by Krishna himself within the heart. So the sincere devotee engaged in Krishna consciousness cannot be without knowledge. So two aspects are there with devotion. It is the natural outcome of performing bhakti or devotion. Two things. If you are actually performing bhakti, two aspects will manifest. Like if you are watering the plant, then there will be flowers and there will be fruits. And if you are not watering, it will dry up. So how do you know that the nourishment of the plant is good? There will be ample of flowers and fruits. So if you perform bhakti, two things are natural outcome. What is that? First is the detachment, vairagya. And second is knowledge. Knowledge about not this material knowledge. Knowledge about the self and knowledge about the Supreme Lord and one's relation with the Supreme Lord. This knowledge you cannot find in any academic university. So the Mayavadi philosophers think that without discriminating, one cannot have pure knowledge. For them, the answer is given by the Supreme Lord. Those who are engaged in pure devotional service, even though they may be without sufficient education and even without sufficient knowledge of the Vedic principles, are still held by the Supreme Lord, as stated in this verse. So the Supreme Lord, who is situated in their heart, he personally illuminates their heart with knowledge. An example is Brahmaji himself. Tena Brahma Hide Adi Kaviyo Muhyanti Yat Suryaha. So the spiritual knowledge is imparted not in the head, like the academic knowledge. It is where it is imparted in the heart. And who imparts? The representative of the Supreme Lord, the spiritual master. Divya Gyan Hide Prakashita. It is not Divya Gyan, it is not Prakashita in the head. It is Hide Prakashita. The Lord tells Arjuna that basically there is no possibility of understanding the supreme truth, the absolute truth, the supreme personality of Godhead simply by speculating. How can we understand the supreme when we cannot understand the self? Can we understand the self, who we are? We never inquire also who we are. We are thinking we are this body, or we are this mind, or the post, or the position, or the designation, or the family. We are identifying ourselves with all these externals. But the supreme truth is so great that it is not possible to understand him or to achieve him simply by making a mental effort. Man can go on speculating for several millions of years. And if he is not devoted, if he is not a lover of the supreme truth, he will never understand Krishna or the supreme truth. Only by devotional service is the supreme truth Krishna pleased. And by his inconceivable energy, he can reveal himself to the heart of the pure devotee. So, this Supreme Lord reveals. he cannot be known by own individual pursuits. No one, by no human effort can one know the supreme absolute truth. One can know him only by when he decides to reveal. One example I give, my teachers gave me, very important. Can you force the Prime Minister to come here right now? Do you have any authority or audacity to do that? But if the Prime Minister himself decides to come, like he comes for some meetings, he decides he will not have the meeting in his cabinet, but in IARI. Who can stop him? He comes now. When I am coming few days back, I came, Prime Minister was coming here. And he was not meeting IRI people. Was he meeting IRI people? No, no. He was having his discussion with his secretaries and cabinet people. So why he comes here? He can have it in the North Block. He can have it in the South Block. Why he chooses to come here? It is his sweet will. Can anyone stop him? Can IRI say, sir, why you are coming? This you are not facilitating any IRI program. But it is his choice. Because he might be lacking the venue. Or I was hearing that when any dignitary comes from the foreign country, where does the Prime Minister host him? Where does the Prime Minister host the special dignitary? Where? There's one special place where he hosts. If you see the really VIPs, huh? Not Hyderabad House. He always, if you see Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, all these big VIPs, not the smaller ones. He always houses them, he always hosts them where? In the Hyderabad House. The same Hyderabad House which is there in the India Gate premises. Why? Because he might be lacking that venue. Prime Minister Modi, I'm talking about. It is his choice. Why? Because he is pleased with that place. So similarly, the Lord gives knowledge in the heart of only those devotees from whom he is pleased, from whom he is happy to accept service. That's why Srila Prabhupada gave this Bhagavad Gita as it is. And this one book alone has transformed the heart of millions world over. And they have become devotees, pure devotees. Before Srila Prabhupada gave Bhagavad Gita, there were so many editions of Bhagavad Gita. How many people transformed their life? Not even one. Vivekananda went to Chicago and gave a speech. How many years back? Almost 200 years back. Anything happened in America? There was any movement? And Prabhupada went to America, the entire Hare Krishna movement erupted. How? Because these books are not given by Prabhupada. Prabhupada says that these books are not given by me. These books are given by Krishna himself. Krishna has personally dictated to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada has dictated. That's why Prabhupada never wrote. Prabhupada only spoke. Why? Because what he was hearing from Krishna, he was dictating. So Krishna is this is the personification of this verse. Krishna says that he personally reveals in the heart of a pure devotee. The pure devotee has Krishna within his heart, and with the presence of Krishna, who is just like the sun, the darkness of ignorance is at once dissipated. This is the special mercy rendered to a pure devotee by Krishna. Due to the contamination of material association, through many, many millions of births, one's heart is always covered with the dust of materialism. Where this contamination starts from? From association, from material association. Material association has contamination. So how to remove the contamination? Huh? By spiritual association. By spiritual association. But if you remain in the material association, the contamination will only, it will further deepen. So this kind of contamination is there through many, many millions of births. One's heart is always covered with the dust of materialism. But when one engages in devotional service and constantly chants Hare Krishna, the dust quickly clears and one is elevated to the platform of pure knowledge. Prabhupada gives the example that if you have a mirror, you may have a gold-plated mirror, a very costly mirror. But if in that mirror there is the layer of dust, what can you see in the mirror? Can you see anything? What you have to do? You have to first clean the mirror. So the cleansing of the mirror is compared to the cleansing of the heart. Because when the heart is cleansed, then we can see ourselves and we can also see the Supreme Lord. And how that cleansing happens? By good association. And in association, by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It is called Cheto Darpan Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. Shreya Kerav Chandrika Vitaranam Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. So Vidya, Vadhu, Jivanam is when one is chanting the Hare Krishna. If you are not in good association, you will never, your mind will never inspire you to chant. In fact, it will always obstruct you not to chant. Only when you are in really good spiritual association, then there is possibility that you might chant. Otherwise, it will never happen. It will never ever happen. Prabhupada is giving the clue here. The ultimate goal, Vishnu, can be attained only by this chant, only by this chant, and by devotional service, and not by mental speculation or argument. The pure devotee does not worry about material necessities of life. This is another very important aspect of a devotee, pure devotee. A pure devotee does not have to worry about material necessities of life. In this world, everyone else is always in great anxiety. About what? About material necessities of life. What is material necessities of life? Roti, kapda, or makan. Entire life is spent. I see people. They have been working for decades, generations, but the insecurity in their heart is only widening and deepening. They are always in this insecurity feel that what will happen to them. And what will happen to them? That final thing is sure. What is the final conclusion? That you have to leave this body and you will get some other body. What body you will get? You have no control. You can enter into dog body or you can enter into a cat body or a rat body. Uh, so the devotee is not concerned. The devotee is never unduly anxious about the necessities of life because Krishna provides. If he serves the Supreme Lord, he need not be anxious. Prabhupada says, he need not be anxious because when he removes the darkness from the heart, who removes? Supreme Lord removes the dark. Everything is provided automatically by the Supreme Lord, who is pleased by the loving devotional service of the devotee. This is the essence of the teaching of Bhagavad Gita. These 4 verses are the essence. Krishna was it as Nashyami Atma Bhavasto Jnana Deepena Bhasvata. Krishna personally comes and removes the ignorance. What is the ignorance? Ignorance is of our identity. By studying Bhagavad Gita, one can become a soul completely surrendered to the Supreme Lord and engage himself in pure devotional service. As the Lord takes charge, one becomes completely free from all kind of materialistic endeavors. So this is the perfection of performing devotion when one pleases the Supreme Lord and the Supreme Lord takes charge. So this is loving reciprocation. When a devotee performs service to Krishna, it is not that Krishna is, inert or insensitive. As the devotee performs devotional service, Krishna takes charge of the devotee. So what a life when one is completely dependent on Krishna and one is completely protected from Krishna. One devotee was speaking there a few days back. He was telling that when there was this battle going on the battlefield, Krishna was on the chariot of Arjuna as the charioteer. And Arjuna was fighting such great big warriors like Bhishma and Drona and Karna. And the battle was very intense and very tough. But Krishna protected Arjuna in such a way that Arjuna did not get any perspiration. There was not even a drop of sweat from his forehead. That means what? He was completely relaxed. He was completely assured of his victory. Jayastu Pandu Putranam Yesham Pakshe Janardana. So for a devotee in this world, he is free from anxiety. And everyone else in this world is full of anxieties. That is the difference. But which devotee? That devotee which is Satata Yuktanam. And Bhajatam Priti Purvakam. How many rounds you are chanting every day? Ah. So what is Priti? How much percentage is the Priti? No, one is not there. Only two zeros are there. If you chant, then there is some percentage. This is Prabhupada is mentioning. How one can come into this stage of pure devotion? Why? That is what Krishna is saying. That Tesham Satata Yuktana. And in the ninth chapter, he said, ninth chapter, 14th verse. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridavatam. So the one who is always chanting, and you are saying your chanting is zero. So where there is love? Krishna is saying always chanting, and you are saying never chant. If you ask food from your mother and she says, no, not today, 2 days later, then, uh, then what will you say? What kind of mother you are? I am hungry, I want food now. So Krishna is saying, Satata Yuktanam, Satatam Kirtayanto. Always chanting. So how we will come to that stage of always chanting? We have to begin somewhere. If we do that, then Krishna will reciprocate, Krishna will take charge. And how he reciprocates? These are just beautiful verses. So I'll stop here. Hare Krishna. If you have any question or something to discuss, you may ask. Memorize these 4 verses. Feel the rasa, the reciprocation, the exchange which is there between Krishna and his pure devotee. How Krishna reciprocates with his devotee and how the devotee reciprocates with Krishna. So Bhagavad Gita is a book of loving exchange. Where is the exchange? Here. In these 4 verses. Okay, very good.
श्री भगवान वाच भूय एव महाबाहो शृणु मे परम वच
Paramam vacha.
यत्ते हम प्रियमाणाय दक्षिणामि च कामय.
Very good, very good. What is the meaning? What is the translation? Also, please do that. Otherwise, it will be like parrot. Try to get the meaning also. कोई बात नहीं. Please attempt. Please try. As you have put effort to memorize the shloka, the translation is relatively easier. If you can do recitation of shloka, memorization of shloka, you can easily do translation also. Understand, like I explained, when the recitation comes, I explain every word of Sanskrit and I explain the words, what it means. So Krishna says, Bhuya eva mahabaho. Bhuya eva is listen again. And who? He's saying, Arjuna, oh mighty Mahabaho. Shunu. Shunu means to hear. What Krishna is saying, what I'm going to speak is Paramam Vacha. Vacha means words, and Paramam means which is most valuable. And why Krishna is speaking? Yatteham priyamanaya. Again, exchange. You see, Bhagavad Gita is full of rasa. Rasa means everyone is looking for rasa. Rasa, you understand, is exchange, loving exchange. What is the heart looking for? Heart is not looking for dhanam. You drink as much champagne, but your thirst will be there. If you get some sweet exchange of word, you are satisfied. So Krishna is saying, Yatte ham priyamanaya, because I consider you my dear. Priyamanaya. Priya means dear. Vakshyami, I shall speak. Hita kamaya. Hita means for your benefit. Why is Krishna speaking the Bhagavad Gita? Here, na? I am explaining the verse that you have memorized. So understand the meaning. Very beautiful. Yatteham priyamana. What a glorious position Arjuna is having. Krishna is considering Arjuna Krishna to be dearmost. But fortunate is that soul whom Krishna considers to be dear. Many people may be admirers of Prime Minister, but that person is really glorious whom the Prime Minister admires. So Krishna is saying, Yatteham priyamanaya. I consider you as my dear one. So Krishna is speaking this 10th chapter, considering Arjuna to be his dearmost. And for Arjuna, this Bhagavad Gita is spoken, and we are also getting the same benefit. Did we do any service like Arjuna? Krishna told Arjuna to kill his grandfather. And what Arjuna did? What he did? Killed. No, he killed him. Bhishma Dev. Krishna told Arjuna to kill Dronacharya. Now please hear. So he had to pay that big sacrifice. We don't have to pay anything. We are getting it for free. So that is why we failed to value. We did not have to pay that cost which Arjuna paid. But still we have the same benefit. Provided we accept and we apply. Okay, I'll stop here because it is getting late. No, no, what you have to do